Thank you very much, Martin Schulz. Dear friends, now you have the unique chance to get more information in a personal talk. I think the personal talk, the conversation, the debate, the discussion is the source of new ideas, the source of new work. I mean, rules for the markets, who doesn't know what it means? Rules for the market. In Latvia, you know it. The second thing, the European Union, everybody talks about it. Uniting, we are stronger. Stronger doesn't mean that we overrule others. On the contrary, what is the European Union for you? What is the notion for you? What is it worth for you to be part of the European Union? Only to travel without a passport to Germany, to Britain, to Italy, or to Ireland? Or is it more even? These might be questions that you might raise. And then, within the European Union, the European Parliament. Do you know your parliamentarian? Do you know the Latvian parliamentarians in the European Union? This is a former parliamentarian, but do you know a present one? Please tell me. You have German ones. German, of course. From his roots, he's German. But when he is in Europe, he's a European. There is no question of Germans, of Austrians, of British, of Italians, only when it comes to questions of language. But on questions of interest as well, of course. There is not a grey zone of Europeans that talk only European. They are there on behalf of their country, they have interest of the country, as well as in Latvia. If you have questions how Latvia can survive in the European Union, please, here is a person of source. The third thing, the education thing, for me is one of the most important, since I'm also working for an adult educational institution, a private one, financed by taxpayers in Germany, by the way. I don't want to talk about the Friedrich-Ebert-Stiftung now, because I could talk for hours, as he could talk about the European Parliament for days, without interruption. Please, take the chance, put your questions. We have a motto amongst us. There is no silly question, there are only silly answers. Please, put your question in the language that is also the second or the third or the fourth language of ours. So please, let's make use of the fact that we all speak the same language and that we have an interest to know about what Martin Schulz, as a social democrat, as one of the political groups in a freely elected European Parliament, has just elaborated. Now it's your turn. Please, I'm waiting for your questions. Please, only critical questions, no affirmative questions. Yes, please.
I have a question about education.
Could you raise please your voice?
You said
they have to understand. We have no microphone.
Okay. You said that all the European countries should develop equally. But the problem here we have that people are getting education here and they are leaving country. So how can we develop equally if our bright minds are leaving our country?
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Should we just gather a number of questions, or do you want to start immediately? Maybe a second question about this educational question.
Excuse me?
Yes, please.
I wanted to ask a question about climate changing.
Climate changing.
Yeah, you talk about climate changing.
Okay.
And I want to ask how exactly European Union can change the climate or affect the climate. How there are some problems about it. What exactly we should do.
Thank you. Very important question. Another question. Please raise your arms because it's difficult to. I mean, if you have ever moderated, you should know that it is difficult to. There's somebody.
I just wanted to ask. This is actually, how Latvia can survive in the EU. This is very important. Another important point for me, Latvia has almost failed to survive in this EU now. So what mechanisms have failed that should have been triggered for Latvia not to become such a disaster, economic and financial disaster, like it is at the moment?
the $1 million question. Thank you very much. Please.
Yes, I'm Marcus Lange, head of the Latvian Freedom and Solidarity Foundation. I have a question about Greece and Spain. Actually, I have a question about all the big countries, Portugal, Italy, Greece and Spain. And also about the hell countries, Hungary, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. But I'll leave Romania and Bulgaria out. They don't have an acronym. To your ideas, how can your ideas be translated for Greece and Spain, which is a bigger disaster than Latvia? You have social democrats in power in Greece and in Spain, yet they are doing absolutely the same austerity program that Latvia has implemented. So it doesn't really make any difference if you have the real hard questions. Do you have money or you don't have money? You can only spend as much money as you have money. How do you answer that? Okay, you can say the Greeks inherited a bad system from the previous government. But Zapatero has been around for a long time. And you can see that the people in Greece and in Spain are, out in the streets. But they will not be given the money because the taxpayers in Germany and France say, why should we give them money if they don't know how to run their country? So I think that is the main question today in Europe.
I think one more question and then we have to stop because otherwise, yes, you will come a little bit later. Please keep your question in mind because it's already 5 questions in a row. An exam is very tough. Please, the last question for the first row and first round and then we continue, right?
What you told us, in my understanding, could be said as well by Nicolas Sarkozy or Berlusconi or somebody else of the right-wing politicians in Europe. What is the peculiarity of your social democratic approach in this case that cannot be said or just by any politicians from the right wing of the spectrum in Europe? Maybe except of the education, I believe.
Thank you. Martin, a big, humble question. I leave it to you where to begin.
Yeah. I'm a little bit astonished to listen that what I said could have been said by Sarkozy and Berlusconi. I have a very special relationship, especially to Mr. Berlusconi. It's simply not true. Never Berlusconi would speak about climate change. Never Nicolas Sarkozy would speak about investment in education without any monetary restriction. In France, you have to pay a lot of money in the meantime to get to universities.
Except for education.
So, and I never heard Nicolas Sarkozy, who was financed, by the way, and who is financed, by the way, in his election campaign and will be in the next election campaign by the big media enterprises of France. The similarity between Nicolas Sarkozy and Silvio Berlusconi, and that's a big difference to European social democracy, is the following point. I spoke about democracy and the interest that democracy must be organized in the way that the economy has to serve to the interest of people. And not the other way around. That people are elements, we say in German, Kostenfaktoren mit Ohren. I can't translate it in English.
Cost factors with ears.
Yeah, cost factors with ears. So, the similarity between these two leaders is the following. In no country in the world, in no other country in the world, the highest possible economic power, because Berlusconi is the richest man of his country, the highest possible